Smile, your eye. There's Mr. Gabe. Gabe is a epic LinkedIn live streamer. I get a ton of leadership and value from what Gabe puts out there, and he's taught me a lot, and he's been there for me many times when I had questions, comments, and he's encouraged me to be a better live streamer. So, Gabe, love you, brother. Thank you for being on. And happy Thankful Thursday, everyone. We are back.
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thankful Thursday. I used to call it Thirsty Thursday.
There you go. I still some people that call it that.
Back in my drinking days. And I'm back on the Thankful Thursday. So good morning, Hector Martinez.
Good morning.
Thanks for showing up. And I want to thank Zach Witt with Vibeco. And Zach is a buddy of mine. He does solar. I've known him for about 7 years. And Zach's been doing mixes. So we got a little Zach music in the background. So thank you, Zach. Love you, brother. Michelle Norton, I was just talking about you this morning. I was talking about how much of an underachiever you are. You just don't do enough and you don't add enough value. Would you try to add some more value, please? We need that in our lives. We need this in this world of derping, right? We've all derped before. We're going to talk a little bit about that later. Good morning, Stephanie Jenkins. Stephanie Jenkins is like the ultimate entrepreneur. Oh, yeah. And Stephanie encouraged me to jump out of the plane without a parachute and trust that I would sew one up before I went splat.
Okay.
Stephanie encouraged me to live beyond default and release my previous career and get into real estate. So,
oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Much love and gratitude for Stephanie Jenkins. So thank you. We got Gabe on there again. It's a Thankful Thursday. Elena says, good morning.
Morning.
Elena, you'd be happy. I did my desk stretches yesterday, especially with the shoulders, right? Because I caught myself all tight.
Elena, Dave had me stretching yesterday, too. We had a stretching session at the end of a workout session. So we thought about you then too.
We did. And thank you for hosting those monthly events that you do, Elena. They're super cool. Jackie Struve, good morning to you. I had a cool conversation with Jackie this morning and won't be talking about that on the show, but it was, we dove in deep for about 10 or 15 minutes. And not only is Jackie a true friend, and a wonderful mom and just a beautiful human being in general. Good. She trusted me when I just got in real estate last year to buy and sell her home with my partner, Joe, and I really appreciate that too. So thank you, Jackie. Michelle, you work on that. And Harrell, good morning. Thanks for being on. Do you know Harrell?
I don't.
Yeah, I just know Harrell from LinkedIn. We've been engaging a little bit, so I decided to put her on the invite list. So it looks like we got some people on YouTube, which is cool too. Not much on Twitch. That's okay. Not a huge Facebook guy, but I started broadcasting on there too. And did you have any thoughts that you wanted to start off with?
Just thankful for everything. Thankful for being here with you as well. Thankful for friends and associates and networking buddies that jumped on as well. Thankful to be here. Dave is definitely an inspiration. When I came in the building, you can just feel the energy. You can't see it, but we got the candle going here. So the good aroma, the good energy that's coming in as well. Coming in the door, we got the house music blasting, get you in the right mood, and just, the good energy that goes back and forth between days. So thank you for bringing it, brother.
Thank you, brother. And on that note, welcome to this episode of Live Beyond Default LiveStream. It's episode number 26. My name is Dave. What am I? I am a purveyor of Team Human. I am a realtor. I am a personal growth coach. I'm an entrepreneur. And most importantly, I am just super grateful to be here. And we got Brandon Cork again this week.
Second week in a row. Loving it.
He's good looking. He's tall. He's fit. And you have a MBA, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah? He's super smart. He's got a great story coming out of Gary, Indiana. Props to Gary.
Oh, yeah.
And I just love being with Brandon. He encourages me to live beyond default. And of course, you're going to love the conversation. You're going to love the shares. Please, we encourage you to share, take some leadership from this. And of course, we're having fun with purpose. And as I asked Brandon and Nate yesterday, as we were blasting our pecs.
Good morning,
right?
Nate.
I see Nate down there and I see Tiaja. Good morning.
Tiaja, good morning.
So I ask you all, has your week been epic yet? Has it been epic so far? And if not, now is the time. Now is the time to, number one, take responsibility for your energy, your thoughts, and your actions, and where you are versus pointing to something else to say that's the cause of where you are today. Number one, take responsibility. Number two, let's start leveling up our focus and our energy. And number three, let's make the rest of the week epic. It's in our control. We don't let outside factors control our happiness and what's going on inside of us, right? And that doesn't mean if we get punched in the face, we're like, oh, that's cool, right? It just means that we're okay with when the shit hits the fan, right? And we don't throw sprinkles on a shit show. And at the same time, we choose and we recognize that being optimistic or focusing on thriving and being positive in situations will really serve better. You notice how when you're negative or when something comes down, you tend to attract a lot of negative people.
It does. Yeah, it does. Yeah. There's two things, right, that you can control. I love how you said it. Attitude and effort. We talk about that all the time in sales, right? Or just in people. It's your attitude and your effort. If you control those two things, right? Your attitude, how you start your day. I joke with my director and my owner all the time. I say I come in every morning with a positive attitude because I control that, right? It's the energy I bring to myself and the people around me.
I like that.
And your effort is what you put into it. So what happens when you put a lot of effort into something?
Well, what you focus on grows.
It grows, right?
Right?
We're energy.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And that's part of it too, right? Is a lot of things. I like to always say the system is set to defend itself. So when you resist something, it persists because resistance is actually putting energy to it. And when you're doing that, it tends to grow and it's going to come back around again. So where do we choose to put our energy, right? Do we want to survive or do we want to thrive, right? Are we just going to be like default and walk around like derping all day on our phones going, oh, this is cool, 2 hours on social media and eating shitty food and hanging out with people that are like constantly negative Nancy's and watching news constantly? Is that what we're going to choose to do? Or are we going to choose to like start getting rid of some of these distractions and recognizing that we are all part of the cultural renaissance that is taking place in the world today? Like 2020 reset button, boom. This stuff's been happening for a long time, whether you want to talk about Me Too or Black Lives Matter. Like all these things always mattered all the time, right? It's just now everything came to the surface. And, you know, I was talking to you about this too. Like what's funny is you talk about like woke culture and cancel culture and all these things like, oh, I woke up. It's like, well, it's almost like the pendulum has swung so far the other way that if I don't agree with something Brandon says, it's okay just to cancel him out of all the other good things he did. And that's kind of lame. Like this cancel culture thing, lighten up. Okay. Like it's still important to have a foundation. It's still important to have a soul and be grounded, which is why we meditate, right? Which is why we read books, which is why we surround ourselves with the people that encourage us to live beyond default. So shit, that was a lot that I just said there.
I'm gonna jump in on that one too, because that's what I appreciate about you too, Dave, is we might not always agree on the same thing, but it's okay. You're an individual, I'm an individual. We want you to be the best you. I don't want you to be the best me, right?
Yeah.
So it's okay to have opinions, okay to have thoughts.
Yeah.
It's okay, we were raised differently. That's okay. And that's great.
Yeah.
Just surround yourself with people that bring out the best in you and encourage you to be the best person. So I like that.
Are you saying you don't like bald white guys?
Of course.
Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? Come on. I knew it. I knew deep down inside he was trying to infiltrate. Right. He's trying to infiltrate the white man. Right. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, brother.
No
I really, really love that. So who else do we got on here? LinkedIn user. Good morning, everyone. We said Nate. We see Tiaja. Tiaja, it was so great to see you yesterday. Tiaja, I love your hair. And it's not just because I don't have hair, but I love your hair. Dan Helwig, good morning. He's an epic realtor from Chicago. Love me some Dan. Ben Weaver. Ben, I haven't talked to you for a while. There's nothing quite like a positive mindset that pushes you to the next level. And that's the type of guy that Ben is. I haven't talked to Ben for a while. And I really appreciate you being on the show, and I appreciate how you show up. Mark says, good morning, everybody. And LinkedIn user, hi, Dave. It's Dr. Michelle. Love what you're both saying about taking responsibility. Energy and effort are contagious in the best way. It's the fierce revolution of love. And Dr. Michelle is super cool. Thanks for announcing yourself, too, because sometimes the names don't pop up here.
You got another LinkedIn user this morning.
Yeah, it happens sometimes with the LinkedIn feed. It's not as connected. And I want to say hi to everyone on YouTube there. You can also comment, and let's just do a simple self-reflection, right? We usually start off the show with this, like this past weekend, 4th of July weekend. It's kind of a weird holiday where 4th of July was. And if it's okay, I would like
to do. What did you get into, Dave?
Well, I would like to take just a few moments of silence. We had a tragic incident in Highland Park, Illinois. It's interesting because I don't have news feeds. So I heard about it a couple hours afterwards from Jackie. Jackie sent me a text. So most people, if something happens in the area, they'll just let me know via text, right? And it's a tragic situation. And I just want to say that our thoughts and prayers go out to the families. I know even Jenny Milkowski, who was a news person in Chicago. She's out on the West Coast now. She's on LinkedIn, and I collaborate with her a little bit. She had her sister's friends got killed. And it was a really tragic situation. So all life is sacred. Whether it's in Highland Park, Illinois, whether it's in Cary, Indiana, whether it's in Africa, whether it's in Ukraine, there's a lot going on in the world, and we know that. And we're going to do our best to give some love and give some of our hearts to those families.
For that, I had some texts from all over, which is, I talked to someone that I work with, and he was like, "Oh yeah, something happened." And he was surprised that it was so local. It hits, just a little different when it's that close to home, where we live at. And I got texts from friends in California, like, "Hey, is everything okay? How far is that from you?" and things like that. So definitely showing love to those families, just reading about their stories for such a tragic event as well. So
it reminds me of back in the day when in Palatine, where I grew up, we had what was called the Brown's Chicken murders. And somebody went into a Brown's Chicken there and murdered a bunch of people. And the case was closed. It was cold. They didn't find the people until it was like 20 some years later. One of the girlfriends actually told and said something about who it was. So the case was totally cold. But it happens. We're all human. It happens everywhere. Like I said, it doesn't matter what country, what color, if you're bald or not, right? If you're buff or not, like it doesn't matter. It affects all of us. And it's a good reminder that the decisions that we make on a daily basis, they affect everybody. Man. There's a ripple effect on all the decisions. Like you think that that what you do behind closed doors doesn't affect other people. I'm going to challenge you on that one. In fact, what you do behind closed doors affects other people even more than what you do in front of them, right? That's what I like to say is like the definition of integrity. It's doing the right thing just because especially when no one's looking and behind closed doors. Like, what are you doing with your time? I noticed myself yesterday. I spun out on YouTube for a little while, right? And it was about 15, 20 minutes in, and I was learning some stuff, but I'm like, derp. I'm looking at this going, dude, like, it's great.
You get lost in it.
I get lost. Like, I wanted that dopamine hit, right? And there was just no excuse, but I caught myself, right? And then I went and made my dinner. I made my cod and my sirloin steak and my veggies. But I noticed myself doing it, right? And it's recognizing when we do that. So this weekend, I did have a barbecue with my family, which I really enjoyed. And then some things that I didn't do this weekend. I was talking to my shrink about this, and I recognized that there were some of these simple things. I like to say, take a 5-hour driving radius and pick a bunch of things that are free or next to free that are cool to do. Well, I had a bunch of things going on right in my backyard here, right? I got invited to a boat party. I got
that's fun.
Sure, someone you told me about this house party in Chicago in Jackson Park. Love house music. And then, wouldn't you know, the guitar player from Kiss, Ace Frehley, was right here in Arlington Heights, right? And I didn't go to any of these things. And I recognized that, like, I'm starting to beat myself up for maybe not thinking I worked enough or progressed enough in my life. Like, I'm trying to make up for lost time in work. And part of making up for that lost time is having fun with purpose, especially when there are incidences that happen and then they're not going to happen the next week. And what I looked at my shrink says was, like, I'm not paying a penance, right? I don't have to, like, redeem myself. Like, I am here now. And it was like, oh, okay. That kind of makes sense. And I feel a little better about the time and the money I'm spending on this. So, you know, that was a good step. But I'm watching you.
Did you feel kind of regret or you feel remorse because you didn't get a chance to go to some of these events? You felt like you're missing out?
I felt not so much FOMO. I just felt like there's these. I like to think that in the next 10 years of my life, I'm going to live 100 lives. I don't want to be 90 or 100 or 105 and live one life. I'm thinking of the next 10 years. How may I live 10 different lives by having experiences of love and joy and then disappointment and not, like, seeing Starved Rock or Glaciers or something cool like online. Like, I want to see them in person.
You want to be in the moment.
I want to be in the moment, right? So it was a great weekend for me. It's been a wonderful week. What'd you do? Anything cool?
I had a epic, to your point, weekend. On Friday, Hector, who's on now, shout out to Hector for coming up with the idea. Ragu and Matt, we actually
I love Ragu and Matt.
We had to pivot our idea. Our idea first was to go to a gas station and give money and pump gas for people and kind of give back just to ordinary people. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. We had a little disappointment. Corporate, you know, they said no, they could put the kibosh on it. So we actually went to Palatine and Schaumburg, Palatine area, Schaumburg, and actually gave 20 free coffees to people that came in. So that was our giving back. And we call the group the Good Guys. So, you know, every 2 weeks we're going to come up with a different idea to kind of give back to local businesses and things like that. So Hector, shout out to you for coming up with that idea.
It's a great idea.
Awesome.
What coffee shop did you do it at?
It was Caffey's Tube. It's right next to the exercise coach next door.
Beautiful.
It was amazing coffee too. Amazing coffee. So
that was
Friday. Saturday, we got together with Love Local.
Yeah, Love Local. Love Jason Stallard.
Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Monica from there. We actually volunteered with Ragu and a bunch of people and actually walked in the parade. So this was the first time I actually was in the parade. Not actually on the sidelines. So I got to pass out candy, got to jam the music, and was high-fiving babies and kids. It was amazing. It was about a 1.5 mile walk. And then we all went out to eat, had a good time with great people. And then, of course, just like you, Sunday was with the family and friends on Sunday and Monday. So it was a phenomenal weekend. Phenomenal.
I love the idea that you were in that parade. My niece and nephew were at that parade, which was super cool. And I heard good things about it. And you know, the Good Guys and Love Local. It's like this is who we're surrounding ourselves with. And you know, I encourage everybody, just like we're doing here, right? We're going to share some of the comments soon. Just like we're doing here, though, it really is like it makes a difference. Like, who you surround yourself
True.
with just brings you up. Like think about the water in the harbor, right? All the boats go up at the same time when the water level rises. And on the other side of it too, when you've got some dead weight, doesn't mean that you
Weighs
just
you down.
It does. And it doesn't, right? The chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Like it doesn't mean you cancel and get rid of people. It means that you ask questions. Hey man, like I noticed that you've been a little bit different lately. And usually you are doing this at the office or with your health or in your relationships or with yourself. And I noticed you haven't been doing that lately.
Right.
Is there something going on? Would you like to talk about something? Right. So always encourage. And then, of course, if it becomes a pattern 3, 4, 5 times and nothing's changing, then you have to make a decision like, am I cutting this person out of my life? And, you know, a lot of times people just self-serve out of your life also. And that's okay, right? We have a saying
about that too. Yeah.
We have a saying here, like we're all doing the best we can with what we have at this time. Always. And if your best is only here one day, it's okay. If your best is here another day, it's okay. It's a matter of like, are there isolated incidents or are there patterns? So, oh, we got a YouTube comment here. Having fun with purpose. I really like that. And thank you for joining again, Brendan. Love it. Haral says, positive mindset makes all the difference in being able to deliver results.
True.
We met at the SBA orientation, by the way, Dave. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Haral. I meet a lot of people, and sometimes it just takes a couple times for me to remember. So thank you for saying that. Tyler says, love these big ideas. Pay it forward always. Tyler always pays it forward. I love how Tyler's super present.
His energy as well. We met at a couple of events. We rock it out. He's definitely present. He's always there. Always has suggestions as well. We bounce some things off each other. So thank you for joining, Tyler.
Yeah, thank you again. And Dan says, got to give yourself the right to do those things. You bring so much positive energy that anywhere you go, you're serving without realizing it. Thank you, Dan. Sometimes I just get these limiting self-beliefs, right? And I get up in my head and it happens. So we're all challenged. And we recognize that it's just progress every day. So thank you. All humans are 100% worth of rest, fun, love, and peace. Yeah. And you know, what did we talk about last week? We talked about entitlement, right? I would say that all humans are entitled to rest, fun, love, and peace. Like that's a positive point of entitlement.
That should be a poster, right? Was that love, rest, fun, and peace? And we just talked about letting our bodies rest, right?
Yeah.
Not only from physical activity, but the mental part of the day-to-day activities and the things that could weigh you down.
Yeah.
That's why you need that good rest and that good nourishment in your body. So
the rest is key. Michelle says, spicing up life right there. And there was some money raised too. It's at the top here of some of the kids that were killed. And I'm sorry for the kids of whose parents were killed. People coming together to do what they can to help a horrific situation. I think Jackie said it was either 2 or 3 million.
Yeah,
but
like 3 million. That's
thank
amazing.
you for sharing that.
Yep,
yeah, like people always coming together when there's a situation, and we're all able to help each other out. So let's dive into helping each other out, right? Like I was talking to Brandon this last week. And of course, if you're just joining us, you're on episode 26 of
26
of Live Beyond Default Livestream. It is your weekly dose of personal growth. This is Brandon. I'm Dave. And whether you're listening in your car, you're listening at work, you are listening to the replay, or maybe watching the replay at gym, we super appreciate you being here. And always, if you find value, we would love for you to share the link and share the love. And we're going to keep growing and growing and growing. So
that's a sign, 26, because 26 is half of a year. A year is 52 weeks, right? You didn't even know that, right?
Oh my!
You didn't catch that.
I didn't even think about that. Oh my!
And our topic today is what?
Yeah,
what are we talking about?
The topic today is the mid-year check-in. We're 6 months into the year. It goes by quick. You know what? I find that time goes by slower when you're more present.
True. On
a daily basis. When you practice presence on a daily basis, I find, and it's just my opinion, I find that when I'm not thinking about the future and oh, what's going to be better?
Okay.
And I'm not thinking about the past, like, oh, I could have done better there, or why did this happen? When I'm in the present moment throughout the day, I find that the week, it actually feels like I have more time.
Okay.
Because you can't create more time, right? 168 hours.
Right.
It's the frame that you're in.
Right.
So speaking on that, we're 6 months into the year. It's July, and we know, especially in Chicago, right? Gabe, I don't know what city you're in. I don't remember. But in Chicago, when summer hits, because it's so cold throughout the year, it's like, boom, we're all in high gear. It's fun time. We're partying, we're jamming, and we just love it, right? So let's look at our goals that we've had for like this year, and let's discuss a little bit about these areas and check in with ourselves, right? And of course, this is the time to share in the comment, right? Choose one goal that you had in the beginning of the year or maybe last year and share in the comment and give us 1 or 2 sentences about how you've progressed on that goal. Share one goal and give 1 or 2 sentences about how you've progressed.
And thanks, Nate, for your comment too. So being that, do you believe in New Year's resolution? Is that something that you kind of believe in and start off, or at the beginning of the year, do you write down, this is what I want to accomplish, just starting off?
It's a great question. And I was thinking about this again last night. So what I do believe in is the flow and the momentum that the new year brings.
Okay.
I do believe in that. I do not mostly believe in New Year's resolutions. And the reason why is because, first of all, September is the new January.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So my crew, we are basically planning January and acting upon and doing these new habits and shifts and behaviors already in September to build that momentum. So when January hits, it's like we're already there. We're already there, right? We're already ahead of the game. And it's like 80 or 90% of New Year's resolutions fail. It's to me, it's very default, right? And then what's going to happen is, well, now we're the victim because we didn't make the money, get the abs, get the guy we wanted, be with the girl. We're not with the job we want. We don't have the car. So then we're looking for a solution out there, right? That we have to pay for because now we're the victim and somebody else is going to come up with the solution. Or we're just going to go for a bunch of dopamine hits and try to feel better because we didn't accomplish what we wanted to accomplish. So not a big fan. Yeah. What about you?
Not either as well. I was thinking about something too. I was looking up statistics too. So January, and Nate talked about working out, lifting weights is one way that it brings him joy. January is the month that most gyms have the most memberships, right?
Of course they do.
Historically.
Yeah.
Because people, I want to go to the gym. I want to get better. I want to do this. And guess what happens in February? It goes down,
Yeah.
It goes down and goes down. And then people, to your point, start feeling bad about themselves. So I don't believe in the New Year's resolution per se, but I do usually in December start working on my plan for the year. Yeah. And I list like tops of professional and personal goals that I want to accomplish for the year. So
I love it.
We do that with our team too at Pulse. We start organizing those things together. And it's good when you look at that too, because July or June is that reflection period too, June, July.
Yeah.
Where am I at, right? You know, pivot was the word of 2020, right? Do you need to pivot, right?
Yeah.
Do I need to change up? Do I need to add something to it? Or am I close to that goal? Or did I achieve it already and I have to start something new? So what's some of the professional goals you had, especially with you and Joe going into the year?
Well, there's goals in different areas. And I'm going to even shift the word goal, right? Okay. So let's just take a look. Again, share in the comments about one of your goals that you had and how far you are along. So let's see here. Allison says, one of my 2022 personal goals is better communication with my family, specifically my significant other. Okay. 6 months in, and I do feel like I've reached the goal and continue to do so.
Hey, good job.
That's awesome, Thank you, Allison. Thank you for sharing that. And what I like about what Allison said there too is she feels like she's reached the goal and she continues to do so. Because what happens is really in the end, when we hit a goal, we just move the bar farther
Mm-hmm.
and we come up with a new one.
Right. Stretch goals, right?
Stretch goals.
Yeah.
And it's so important, in my opinion, to recognize the fact that it's loving the process, right? Look, like we're going to all die one day anyway. And think about it. Like anything that we build, I mean, how many people right now even remember what John Rockefeller did, right? How many people right now remember what Rosa Parks did, right? I'm not saying that they didn't do anything. I'm just saying that eventually, like a lot of these things, or Malcolm X, right? Can anybody really recite what Malcolm X did, or what he really, really stood for, right? Probably not most people. And these are significant people in history. At the same time, most of us don't even remember what happened. And you know what? We're not that important either. Most people aren't going to remember what we did, right? The legacy, we want to all leave a legacy, but things are going to go away and it's okay, right? So it's like loving the process, like just waking up every single morning to do the right thing. Just because, like for no other reason, right? Showing up for people, present and serving for no other reason, just than that. So Allison, it was a great share. Harrell, good stay in biz. Been 15 months. Oh, stay in business. It's been 15 months already.
And what does Harrell do? You know,
tough times ahead, but love the daily grind. So she's been in business for 15 months. That's
that's tough too. Though the beginning part of a business, the first 3 years, you know, I remember reading, you know, management books and entrepreneurship books.
Yeah,
the first 3 years you might be in red, you know, because you're trying to gain that pipeline, you're trying to get that recognition, you're trying to get the reputation, right? Trying to get those trusted, you know, customers and clients and things like that. So, you know, definitely good for you. Hopefully everything turns out well in the long run.
Kudos to you, Harrell. Thank you. And Tyler says, Michelle Norton, you're the best. Also being an example for people to be on their best. Yes, good. Michelle always does that, and I appreciate that. So let's share some goals here, right? Could be physical health. Could be mental health, right? Could be your finances. It could be family, friends, relationships. And I like to say significant other is separate from family, friends, relationships, right? Could be work. Do we even call it work now? Or do we call it job? Like, I don't even like calling it that. Fun and recreation. Do we allow fun? Spirituality, personal development, contribution, giving, right? So what kind of goals did you set this year, personally, professionally, and how are you doing on those? So you asked that question. For me, number one, in the mental health, it's pulling up self-limiting beliefs and perhaps some past trauma. And I'm not looking for people to feel sorry for me on anything, right? Like I didn't have like major traumas, but there's always like little significant things that happen when you're younger. And I want to pull those up and dig deep and release those so I don't have limiting beliefs, right? So that's one thing. Another is financial abundance, having 8 to 10 million in sales in real estate this year, along with building up my speaking and my coaching business. And lastly, having the accounting and having the clarity around where the numbers come in, where they go out, and to make sure that it's flowing the right way. So that's a really, really big one for me. I'm doing really well on that one also. Another one is building my personal growth coaching business, which I mentioned, but that's kind of like a different pillar too. And then health and wellness. And health and wellness encompasses a lot. So I wasn't real specific. I'm just being a little bit more general, but I have specifics in all of these. So what about you?
Yeah, a few goals personally was leading by example. But I'm gonna do that by changing my daily attitude, and I put meditation. We talked about yoga too, right? We talked about the Zen. We talked about, you know, things to do, stretching exercising, breathing exercises. Thank you, Nate, for teaching me something new yesterday as well. So we talked about a lot of different things in order to get that. But leading by example goes a long way. You talked about reading different things and sharing the information with other people as well, and also the employees. Talked about maintaining a positive culture and this is professional, for employees and to have a safer work environment, right? That's important, especially nowadays, right?
Yeah.
You know, making sure we talk about work, right? That word work, but allowing them to come in and be happy to come to work. You know,
Yeah.
when someone comes to work and they're happy to come to work, they stay longer and their retention is longer, right? And they want to come to work.
Yeah.
They want to see you, you know, go around. And one thing I do every day is, you've been to my office. It's 34,000 square feet, right?
It's big.
The office, right? Make sure, there's a few of us that do that. We go to every office and say hello or good morning to everybody that's there before we get to our desk. So that changes the type of, you know, day that somebody might have had a bad day coming in. Got a flat tire, got a ticket, anything that could change someone's mood as well.
I love that.
So that's part of it too. And this helps you out a lot too. Changing, I'd say, lowering my debt to income ratio. And you probably talk about that a lot too when you talk about home ownership and things like that, is making sure that I got to a certain percentage and I put a certain goal on where I wanted to be at the end of the year, especially having student loans and things like that. Where I wanted to be with credit cards and things like that.
Yeah.
And also helping, you know, I specifically put some details about helping certain employees get to their goals as well. So that's part of it too. It's not only my own personal ones, but helping people on my team reach their goals, whether it's financial, whether it's providing for their family, whether it's them going on a vacation, helping them to reach their goals as well. So those are just a couple, you know, right off the bat that to help. And you always look at it too. It's good to look at it, July, where am I at towards those goals, or checking off. Do you check off like where you at? Did I get this, or is it completed? Or now, since I did this, you said what, 10 million right now? Is it 15 million, or are you going back down to 7?
Those are great questions. Well, what I wanted to reflect first off was how, if you notice, like, Brandon's frame is always coming from serving, right? Mm-hmm. Creating a good environment for others, right? Challenging others. And it's always for serving the greater good, which is really, really important. And I like your frame and how you come from that. And we all recognize too that, like, to share with others and to give to others, we have to first be a little bit selfish and take care of ourselves, right? Saying no when people are asking you to do things, right? Going to bed early, right? Oh, I know it's not cool. You know when it's going to be cool? When you're 80, 90, and 100 and you still have half a brain because you decided to go to bed early as opposed to sleeping 4 hours a night, because that's not cool. Exercising, right? Yeah. Just having some, like, alone time where you're just not doing anything, right? That's a big part of what goes on now. Like, back a while ago, and even still with indigenous tribes, you'll notice that, like, there's a lot of time during the day that they don't do anything. They're just doing nothing, right? And you know, like Seinfeld, the show about nothing. Right? It's okay to do nothing. In fact, I encourage 20 or 30% of the day to just be, to do nothing. And I guarantee, if you set aside time to invest in yourself, not to spend, to invest in yourself every single day, to be versus do, I guarantee you will do more in a more efficient rate, and you'll be more present when you are doing, right? But we're told, like, oh no, we got to go. We got to do. And it's like, you know, I see the line. I see the line at Starbucks. It's a perfect example, right? And I'm not dissing Starbucks. Starbucks is great. I love to support the local coffee shops. You see this huge line in the drive-thru, right, at Starbucks. Now, are you reading in line? And are you on the phone doing business deals when you're in line? Or what are you doing in line, right? Or are you derping on social media and being the robots that a lot more has to come with that? And we can talk about that another time. So really think about it. Like, I see this line at the Starbucks of all these people, and I'm like, you're spending more time in line waiting for that coffee. Are you really even enjoying it? Because you're rushing somewhere, and we're not. Are you that really important where you got to go through the drive-thru and then get out of there? Like, I don't think so, because we're not that important, right? Like, at the end of the day. So Hey, I'm not dissing it. It's just not my style, right? If I'm going to go, I'm either going to make coffee at my house or I'm going to go into a coffee shop. I'm going to share a moment with the barista. I'm going to tip the barista. And not that you can't do that in the drive-thru, but sometimes I just, I think we're really, we all get into this phase of like having to rush and do shit. And it's like, I see everybody rushing, including myself at times, and we're not going anywhere.
Right.
Where are we going?
Right.
We're going nowhere.
Right.
It's like, it's not happening, right? So was there a question in that?
So we just talked about, pivoting, right?
Pivoting
with these goals, right? Because we're at the mid-year point.
Yeah. So it's important to
goals
track.
Yes.
It's important to track. You said, now Patrick showed me what's called the KPI tracker.
Okay.
And it lays out every single day, the day of the month along the top. And you put an MTW, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, along with the date. And then along the side, it gives you the habit or the behavior. And then you exit off. So what I've decided to do, actually, because you brought this up a couple days ago and our topic, I decided to implement the KPI tracker again, because I haven't been staying on my KPI tracker.
You gotta show me this. This sounds good.
Yeah. And I think what it'll do, I know what it'll do for me is it'll hold me accountable the rest of the year to finish strong on my goals. And on that note, let's see what Ben says. Never underestimate the value of brief face-to-face interactions. There really is a difference between drive-through and seeing someone at the counter. I totally believe that. And it's not to diss the drive-through people at the Starbucks, right? Like I'm going to hear that later in the week, like, oh, Starbucks, and you were dissing Starbucks. I'm not dissing anybody. We're not canceling anybody. Okay. It's all good. It's all good.
Tyler had a good point. Brain burnout is so normalized. It's hard to recognize when it's happening. Relax your brain. Good point.
Brain burnout. And think about brain burnout, Tyler, love that. And decision fatigue.
Oh, yes.
We have so many decisions that we're making. Again, we think we're so important. We wake up in the morning, got to do this, got to do that, got to do that. What are we doing? Yeah. And then by noon or 1 or 2, we already have this decision fatigue. So when something challenging comes up, right, that's going to give us instant gratification versus long-term happiness. What do? We pick the instant gratification because we have decision fatigue and we're looking for that dopamine hit again. And then here we go, walking around like cyborgs, like not knowing even what the hell's going on around us, right? I'm going to keep nailing that down regularly. Like your attention is the gold. Our attention is the gold. Mind you, everybody's vying for your attention. Bring your attention back to yourself. Recognize what's going on in your world, right? As opposed to watching how other people live their lives on some show or social media. Like, take a look at your own life and see where you are, right? Follow yourself as opposed to following others, right? Like that's what it's all about. So thank you, Ben, and thank you, Tyler. What's Dan say? Yes, I love all of that. My goals is to get my podcast going. Did that and got my guests, real estate, 10 million in sales behind, but still have the clients and excited to keep working with them. Begin to prepare for another Ironman for 2023.
Dan, great job. I also he brings up a good point too that I put in my notes for today. Recognize those small wins too. It's 10 million right now. It's not your goal, but the best goal maker that I saw, she was actually planning, of course, I want to get on the diet. I want to do these things, but she had a calendar. If she got to 5 pounds, she was able to, her reward was buying herself a purse. Got to 10 pounds, it was, hey, I'm taking myself out to dinner. So recognize those small wins and reward yourself for those as well. So that can go a long way.
Huge point. Huge point right there, Brandon. Like giving yourself the reward for the small win, right? It's like one step at a time. I want to go meet somebody new in my life. Okay, cool. So it doesn't mean you have to go to this blowout party and work the room. It means that when you're in line at the Target or you're in line at the coffee shop, are you on your phone like this, again, with the glaze, or do you turn around and say, hey, my name's Dave. Are you having a good day?
Right.
How are you? Right? That's how you meet new people, but you don't have to meet 10, right? So like it's these little steps and then giving us rewards for that, right? Like, oh, I want to go to Iceland. I've had it on my bucket list for a while, right? At the same time, when's the last time I've been to I don't know, Starved Rock? Just name something that's close, right? When's the last time that I've been to something that's local that doesn't cost a lot? Like having these little wins and being present in the moment and recognizing that. Dan's such a badass too with the Ironman. Like I love his story about the previous one that he did, and I really appreciate that. So
even then, breaking it down too, when you have a goal inside of a goal, right? So 10 million, or mine's 1.6, I wrote down. Breaking it down to, okay, monthly, right?
Yeah.
So when you look at a big number, sometimes it could be overwhelming and you're defeated already. Like I got to do 10 million, I got to do 20 million.
Yeah.
You're defeated before the year gets started. So breaking that down into smaller goals as well, whether it's monthly or semi-monthly, having those goals into smaller chunks helps you get that gratification. You can adjust better as well.
I like that. Yeah, breaking them down into smaller chunks, right? Like Rome was not built in a day, which is what my grandpa used to say, right? And these are all like fundamentals, right? Just fundamentals that really make a difference. We see so much, especially on social media, like, oh, look at this, I crushed this and I crushed that, and look at how great I'm doing. And it's like a lot of times we don't see the struggle behind that. Remember, 2-day delivery from Amazon took 20 years, right? 20 years it took for 2-day delivery. Amazon didn't happen in a day, right? So when you think about it, like, yes, I like the idea of breaking it down into chunks. And, I was also thinking about goals, and I'm going to challenge you and myself and audience, others, to maybe not think about them as goals so much, but think about them more as like priorities, right? So having a goal is great. Having a priority breaks it down, like you're saying, into that daily habit. So, or that daily behavior. So the first thing is I like to think of is like, who do you want to be, right? I am Brandon Cork, X, Y, and Z, right? I am Dave Lasavio, entrepreneur, realtor, entrepreneurial, personal development coach, and health and wellness encourager of Team Human, like whatever it is. I am so-and-so, and I am a mother of this, this and that, and this and that. So when you connect with the identity of who you are, not who you want to be, who you are already, connecting with and acting as if you're already that person. And then what do the daily behaviors, what do the priorities look like that fuel and that show that's what you want to be? So everybody says, oh, I want that car, or I want to make this, I want to make that. You look at your calendar then, myself included, and I'm like, this doesn't look like habits and behaviors of what I said I wanted, which brings us back even another step, starting off with clarity. Clarity, like being clear on who you want to be and what you want. Because a lot of it is really what others tell us, what's been ingrained in us, what we've been told that we want, right? What we've been told is important to us, when really a lot of times we're not even living our own lives, right? We're living the lives of parents,
of others,
teachers, bosses, excuse me, managers. And the funny thing is, they're not living their lives either. So now we've got a bunch of us walking around, right? I'm going to use the word derping again. We're walking around, myself included, YouTube or oh, let's go, hit another fast food drive-through because I want to get that hit and feel better, right? And it's like, we're not living our lives. Other people that taught us to live those lives, they weren't living their own lives either. So number one, create clarity, eliminate distractions. I have a whole program about that I do in my speaking and in my coaching. But most importantly, it's like, get clarity of what you really want. What gets you excited about the day? What brings up that fire inside of you, right? And what pulls you with passion versus forces you because you have to pay a bill or somebody told you. So getting clarity on that, and then really like aligning your daily priorities, your weekly priorities, your monthly priorities with the identity of who you are, who you want to be. And of course, you know, it's always like thinking it's already there, right? Not like I will be this. It's I am this. I am producing 10 million in real estate. I have my accounting down. So it's already like connecting with that feeling. And then of course, doing it, because really it's already been done. You just have to go create it. What you want and what's there, it's already done. It's already there. You just got to go create it now and connect with it and then make it so.
And you talked about a couple of good points I wanted to bring out too, with that clarity, right? It has to be realistic too, because if it's not realistic, it's like, okay, well, you're already, you know, taking a shot in the dark. You're just doing it just because. Yeah, this person said, this is what I should do. But if it's not believable, it's not realistic, it's not going to be attainable to you, you're not going to believe in it, right?
Yeah.
So that's where that clarity comes in at too. I like Alana was talking about too, going back to the human interaction period, encouraging, you know, others, and also, you know, from her standpoint too, with getting that mental vacation, right, that you sometimes need. You talk about 20 to 30% of the time you need to be doing nothing at all, but also the physical part and the refresh. And she does an excellent job at helping us stretch and massages and doing all of that therapeutic things that you need for your body and your mental.
Yeah,
it's very important.
And Elena is all about that, and it's super important. So I'm glad that you brought that up. And something else that Elena brought up too is reducing the touch starvation caused by social distancing, right? Like so that's a whole nother thing. And we're both looking at each other like, oh my, you know,
time goes quick.
And we didn't know at the time, right? Like we didn't know what was going on. I get it. At the same time, it got real old real fast. Like, you know, a little bit of physical distancing is one thing. I didn't even like the term social distancing, right? Like even from a couple months in, it was just like social distancing. Like, the fuck is that? Like, what are we creating here, right? This is time to, we don't have to be on top of each other.
Physical distancing is different than social distancing.
It's different, right? I'm not saying that we're supposed to be going around and making out with everybody, right? What I'm saying is like, to term that social distance. I remember when my previous boss said that too. When he said in an email to the group, and I remember, and he was doing the best he can with what he has, right? And I remember him saying, I'm sure you've all heard the term by now, social distancing. And, you know, you're talking to the guy without TV, not having the news feeds. I'm like, social distancing? What's that? And I'm like, no, I haven't heard of it. And I'm like, that's lame. Like, no, this is you're right. Time to pivot. So Adam says, hello, guys. He's coming in late. Thanks, Adam. Dan says, I take a nap around 1 p.m. This allows me to show the same energy and excitement for afternoon, evening clients, friends, and just myself.
Naps are the best. Power naps.
Yes. Yeah. That sleep, right? That cultivating that sleep throughout the day. So if you're just joining us, you are watching episode 26 of Live Beyond Default Livestream. We've got Brandon over here. We've got Dave over here. We're chilling. We're hanging. We're having fun with purpose. And we are encouraging you to live a life of design versus accepting a life of neglect. That's what Live Beyond Default is all about. Building that community, challenging each other, and knowing that we could always be doing a little better. And at the same time, we don't throw sprinkles on a shit show. Yeah, I like when LinkedIn has my captioning and it actually puts little stars there. If I know, see. It's super funny. It's like, oh, it's hilarious. So yeah, I'm thinking just my opinion, right? Not telling you what to do. My thoughts are shifting goals from a goal to a priority. And number one, creating clarity. Number two, aligning with your identity, saying who you are. And then number 3, enacting, enabling, and putting in those daily and weekly habits that support and encourage and align that identity of who you are and who you are becoming moving forward. And as Brandon said, this is a great time to pivot, right? We're in the 26th episode.
Right.
Who knew? Right? We're halfway through the year. It's a great time to self-reflect. And again, we're all doing the best that we can. And there's times where we're going to have challenges, but I encourage you to DM me if you have any questions, or DM Brandon if you have any questions, you want to learn more about what we've been talking about. And of course, surround yourself with the right people, right? So something else with priorities, I'm still going to use the term goals a little bit. Choose 1, 2, or 3 priorities for the year, for the rest of the year. Just choose 1, 2, or 3 and accept that you're going to suck at everything else, right? You can't crush 10 things. It's just not going to happen, right? We've all tried to do it. It's like having a bunch of apps open in the background, and we're being robotic. So being focused and choosing 1, 2, or 3 things. So maybe you had 5 or 6 or 7 things in the beginning of this year that you wanted to do. With your mid-year check-in, let's narrow it down, right? Let's narrow it down to just a few things and just be focused on those the rest of the year. And then look at those other things and say, you know what? Maybe those will serve me later. And it's okay if I'm not good at that stuff now. I don't have to be good at everything. You be you, right? I'm not going to be good at everything. You be you. So another thing is just to focus on the process and not so much of the outcome, focusing on those daily behaviors and really just enjoying the journey, because again, we get to the goal. It's funny. Once we get to that goal that we got, what happens the next day? Well, you hit the goal. Now what? Life goes on. It keeps going on. It doesn't stop, right? And you're going to feel great for that day or two. And all of a sudden now you're going to kind of come back to where you were, that cliff. And we talked about this before. So think about it. Like, I'm going to use 2 kind of defaulty situations, but it's just so we can relate, right? So all of a sudden you get in an accident and you lose your legs, right? Today you're super happy, you're going wild, you're doing all these things, but then at the same time, all of a sudden it's like, okay, I lost my legs and this is really bad. And what am I going to do, right? But you know what? A year, 6 months, or a year or 2 later, you're going to be at that happiness level that you were the day before you lost your legs, right? Now, same thing with getting the man you want, getting the girl you want, getting the job you want, getting the financial that you want. You win the lottery, you know what? In 6 months or a year, you're going to be right back to the level of where you were. You're going to be right back to that level of happiness where you were. So that's a reminder for all of us, right? Enjoy the process. The process is truly, truly what it's all about. It's embracing the mundane, right? You think I want to get up at 5 every day and meditate and do Wim Hof breathing and read and do outward affirmations and do, not really. I don't really feel like doing it, but I'm not doing shit because I feel like it, right? I'm doing things because I know that it serves a higher purpose, right? It serves a greater good, and therefore we all raise up and we all become happier and we all become more fulfilled in life, right? You think Brandon wants to run around and be worried and concerned about his employees all the time or his team and how they're feeling? He's got a life. He's got kids. He's got things to do, right?
Most definitely.
But he's still thinking about it. Why? Because that's just part of it, right? It's part of it. It's
part of Team Humans, part of how, some of us are made within, assessing that as well. And to the point that you made about goals too, having a plan going in. I was thinking about, as you said back in the day, think about, now where would we be at without Google Maps, right? Or, how do we get to different places that we're going? Remember, before Google Maps, it was MapQuest. Before that, we just used a map, or we knew someone that knew how to get there, right?
Yeah.
That's how it was.
Yeah.
It was free and clear of electronics, free and clear of, distractions and things like that.
Yeah.
So removing those distractions, especially when you're doing goals, is very important too.
Yeah.
And that's part of that clarity, right? When you're getting that information and serving your mental as well. And at the end of the year, you talked about it, the KPIs, how did I track it? Where am I at the end of the year?
Yeah.
And then when you reflect, and I definitely want to bring that up too. Reflection period is very important.
It is important. And thank you for sharing that, because that's part of, as Ivana says, it's all about the journey, not the destination.
There you go.
Ivana is a badass. It's all about the journey, not the destination. And you hear that over and over again. And it becomes cliche. At the same time, are we doing it?
Yes.
Are we really doing it?
Right.
It's a fundamental. Jim Rohn was all about the fundamentals, if you know who Jim Rohn is, right? There are people and leaders in the personal development space and in the mental health and physical health space that are like, the fundamentals still work, right? They really do. And it really is loving the daily process,
right,
and the journey, and embracing that mundane, right?
Mm-hmm.
Passion is not fun.
Right.
Passion's pain.
Right.
Passion is you're doing the grit and the grind and the gruelingness to get to where you want to get. That's what passion is. Passion's not, oh, this is super cool. It's like, no, it sucks, right? Like, I remember.
It's not the instant gratification, right?
No.
It's the long run.
It's the long run. I remember when I first started on my self-improvement movement, as I like to call it. And I was talking about this with other people. And it's like, yeah, you get into this and you start to learn these habits and surround yourself with these people. And it's like, yeah, this is kind of cool. And this is kind of fun. And, oh, I'm going to be feeling better. I'm going to be looking better. And this is really cool. And then a month into it, you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, this is not cool.
Right.
It's hard.
Yeah.
And it's a pain in the ass every single day. But you know what the cool thing is about personal growth? It's like, once you get a little taste of it, it never goes away.
Right.
And the cool thing is, when you're not doing something that you know is good for you, or you're taking the default way on something,
it's a reminder.
There's a little reminder. There's a little thing inside of you that starts nipping, and it starts, right?
Yeah.
You feel that little nervousness in the belly, like, I don't know if I should be doing this. This isn't the right thing. It's that point in the decision time, right? Are you thinking about Ivana? Are you thinking about Dr. Alexandria Rosa with the 3 hearts? Thank you. Are you thinking about Adam? Are you thinking about Gabe? Are you thinking about Dan Helwig and doing his Ironman? Are you thinking about your crew and what they're doing? Because that's what's going to hold you accountable to that next level. That little decision, right? Am I going to go do this? Or instead, am I going to go do that, right? I don't know what I just said there, but whatever. Was it okay?
No, it was good.
Okay.
So, you think about it too, say 60% of goals or priorities fail because of the execution. You have a goal, it's just on paper, right? Or it's in your head, the execution. And then the other step is we don't get to the follow-up. So it stops somewhere in between there as well. So that's a good point.
Yeah.
Definitely. See it all the way through.
See it all the way through. As we like to say, and Dan knows this, and Ivana knows this, and Elena knows this, and Jackie knows this, and Brandon knows this, and so does Nate and Tiaja. Like, we don't run to the finish line. We run through the finish line, right? When we see that finish line and we recognize that, like, oh my gosh, we're almost there at this next step, we double down. We go in harder and we go in stronger. We don't let up. And then once we get through that finish line, we use that momentum for the next step, because the bar just gets raised and we're going to do more. And that's what it's all about, right? Enjoy the process, enjoy the journey. Mohammed just came on and said, sorry, I was late, but catching up with the energy. Thank you so much, Mohammed. It's super cool that you even came on. We're here, and there's the replay also. So we're an hour 4 into it, brother.
Know. Time passes by quick.
I'm like,
this is normal. Dave and I, we can go for hours. Nate we all have conversations. We can go for hours and hours just having regular conversations. So thank you all for joining as well.
Yeah.
Bringing the energy and keeping it on. We love it.
Yeah. Thank you again for sharing your time with us, for investing your time with us, and investing your time within yourself, right? So we talked about middle of the year, right? We're just checking in on our goals. Maybe we shift that to priorities. As always, we like to say clarity. Yes. Clarity is kind. Brene Brown, right? Yeah. Clarity is kind. Look at like what you're doing on a daily basis for the rest of the year, and does that align with who you are as a person, and how important that is. And of course, recognize that once we narrow it down to a few different things, realize you're not going to crush 10 things. Just pick 1 or 2 or 3 things. Right. You know, the word priority means one. Yeah. You know who came up with priorities? The media and people telling us we got to have all these priorities and try to do all these different things, when it's like priority is 1. Priority means 1. It doesn't mean 10, right? Narrow it down. Get some focus. Always, you could DM Brandon, DM me with any questions or comments that you may have. We jam on this stuff all the time. We love to share. We love to grow, and we love to be challenged. That's another thing, right? We always want to be challenged, especially when we're playing small. And that's what we're here to do too, is just to hold you accountable and challenge you to be better. So we got a couple more comments here. Is what's your recommendation for a good self-development book? Oh my. Well, I think there's a couple OG books from like back in the day, right? That might be some Napoleon Hill, like Outwitting the Devil, Think and Grow Rich. There might be like a How to Win Friends and Influence People.
7 Habits, 8th Habit.
7 Habits of Highly Successful People. Yeah. Tony Robbins has a good listen called Awaken the Giant Within. Like that's a great one to start off with. And DM me about that too, Martine, because I have a whole PDF of books that I recommend and that I share with others. Adam says I'm going to have to rewind and catch the whole episode later tonight. Awesome. No problem. And I'm going to need to hear more of this at a later time. Have Brandon on again, says Ben. Cool. So why don't we turn on a little bit of music again as we're closing out this show? Because I know we got calls to make. We got meetings to go to. We got some love to share. And I hope you come on the show again, brother.
Oh, yeah. I got you, man. Thank you. Appreciate you as always.
Thank you.
Appreciate you as always.
All right, everyone. So enjoy the rest of your week. Share the love. Be the best person that you can be. And see others better than they see themselves, because sometimes someone just needs you to listen and not talk, right? Yeah, after we've been talking all this time, right? So you know how that goes. Until next time.
Thank you.
Make it a great week. Thank you. All right, brother.
Damn it out.